Welcome to True Stories, a channel with wildly interesting stories for you. And today I'm going to tell you the story of a girl who lost her husband to a lie. Enjoy watching. Sergey Semyonovich always loved his family very much. He wished that all family members would always be well. That is why he could sometimes show excessive cruelty or rudeness to them, and he could not even be blamed for that, because often such an attitude of the head of the family was good for all its members. In this way Sergei taught them not to trust everyone. The mother of the family, Aksinya, had always been a very trusting person. She could very easily be cheated at the market. Sellers did it all the time to sell the poor woman more rotten products. Therefore, Sergei tried to follow his wife everywhere, so that, God forbid, she would not get into any more unpleasant stories for all of them. In addition, in view of the fact that Aksinya worked almost nowhere in life, and was a housewife, she and her children always brought up to trust people. Sergei, on the other hand, was almost always away on business trips. His work was to blame. Sergei worked for a very serious company that built shopping centers in different cities. The man was not the type to whom everything is easy. He may have a large enough fortune now, but previously he had to work hard to get it. Sergei worked at the firm as a vice president. His boss was always quite harsh to the man, but Sergei believed that it was thanks to him he was able to achieve such heights. The man was always very exhausted at work, worked more than others, flew on business trips, and it was all to ensure the well-being of his beloved family. The man had 2 children. His eldest son Daniel worked and studied at the business department of the local elite university. He had always been a very good, kind and honest man. That is why, when his father asked his son to work at Sergei's firm, Daniel initially refused. But the father of the family still managed to persuade the boy to start an internship, so he was able to pass it safely, and soon accumulate money and open his own business, a car wash, which soon began to bring in a considerable income. Daniel's younger sister studied a course below her brother. She was always more attracted to the law. Sergei also promised his daughter to get her into a firm when she finished her first year. Alia, as Sergei's daughter's name was, would be an intern as a paralegal. At first the girl was upset that she would not be able to fully experience all the work of a defender of the law on himself. "My girl, I've already explained everything to you," Sergei said, when once again the conversation turned to the topic of Alia's employment. "You can't just take a student to get a job. Daniel has been a common manager so far, too. That's how you'll gain experience." "Come on, Dad, I don't like serving as your lawyer with a notary's degree." "What's the big deal about it? Just helping me," said the girl. "I can't just dismiss a highly qualified specialist, especially since this firm is not mine." "That's it. The issue is closed." "Vitaly Mikhailovich, a very good man. I am sure you can be friends with him. Besides, he's not a bad teacher." "Think about it," Sergei said in the end, and then went into the room with his wife. In principle, Alia was able to put up with it. She should not think about it now. Of course, she would have liked to go and complain to her brother, but he is still not up to it now. Daniel is about to have a grand event, for he is finally getting married. Alia could not believe it. She was so happy for him, especially since she was the one who introduced Daniel to Vita. Vita was a nice girl with whom Alia studied together in the same group, at the same department, at the same university. Vita liked Alia from the first day. The girls even had something in common. Alia was flattered, because it turned out that her brother would marry a girl who looked a lot like her. Daniel and Vita's acquaintance happened by chance. "I'm going to show you something that will make you faint, Vitka," Alia said joyfully, coming out of the university on a beautiful spring day after the end of classes. "What's going on there?" another girl wondered. "Look, there's my swallow," Alia said, pointing her right hand in the direction of a fancy new black Mercedes. "Daddy gave it to me." "Tell me, isn't it beautiful?" "Yes, very cool." "But, wasn't it your birthday, I think, in winter?" Vita asked uncertainly. "That's for something else. Daddy said that if I pass the session without fails, he'll buy me a new car. He also promised me that if I passed my summer exams without force he would send me to his firm. He also promised to think about firing the senior associate. I'll ask him to put me in that position." Aliyah answered. "Oh, Danya, have you finished yet?" Aliyah shouted when she saw her big brother on the horizon. "Little girl, aren't you at home? Don't you have a nap now?" he asked, laughing. Ola didn't quite like the way her brother was talking to her at that moment, but she decided to introduce her friend to him anyway. Daniel liked Vita right away. He really liked girls who were able to combine both beauty and intelligence and modesty at the same time. After 3 months, somehow everything spiraled very quickly and unexpectedly. They gave out that they were going to get married, and everyone was very happy about this event, except the father of their family. He immediately managed to smell something wrong and, as it turned out, not for nothing, Sergey has always had a very sensitive sense of insight and, therefore, as soon as his son told the whole family about the planned engagement, the man immediately began to find information about his future daughter-in-law. When she came to their home to meet his parents, his fears were only confirmed, and he immediately realized that something was definitely wrong. In principle, there was practically nothing in Vita's biography that caught Sergey's eye. The girl was an orphan who had lost her parents long ago, lived in her own apartment, and was not bad at school. It seemed that nothing here could surprise a loving father. But after dinner, Sergey still wanted to talk to his son, of course, after his bride-to-be left. "Daniel, son, are you sure about this girl?" asked his father, trying not to offend much with his words. "Father, to be honest, I knew this conversation would happen. You constantly make me doubt my choice." "That's why you are like that, can you please explain?" asked my son irritably. "Really, Seryozenka, do you really think that this beautiful girl can bring evil thoughts into our house?" The mother of the family intervened in the conversation, who evidently liked the pretty girl. "She is so clever and modest. Do you really think she could be mercenary?" "Really, Papa, what's the matter with you?" "Believe me, we all believe her. I go to school with Vita and I've known her for a long time. Her parents were very nice people. She doesn't need Donnie's money at all, because she has a bright future ahead of her since she's going for a red diploma. And that means a lot," Daniel's sister said. "Maybe I'm really wrong, son, but you should at least sometimes listen to my opinion. Believe me, I only want the best for you. It is better to listen to your father now, who will do you no harm, than to regret the opposite later," Sergey answered his beloved son. Daniel promised the man to think about everything. After sleeping through the night, the boy came to the conclusion that he really was a little hasty with his choice. It seemed to him that getting married to a girl was a hasty decision, especially since they didn't know each other very well at all. Daniel decided to postpone the wedding, but of course he was not going to break up with Vita. The next day, having met his girlfriend at the institute, Daniel still decided to talk to her and explain everything. The girl was, to put it mildly, shocked, or rather, out of her mind with rage. "How could you do this?" she shouted so that all the students coming out of the school, astonished at the couple talking. "You've wooed and dumped, that's what you call it these days, isn't it? You don't have to worry about that. There won't be a wedding at all. Don't try or call me anymore. I don't want to see you." Vita shouted one last time to her now ex-fiancé copyright and turned around and walked away. Daniel decided he wasn't going to catch up with her. She should probably be alone right now, he thought, and went back to his house. His parents were there to meet him. Daniel told his father about everything and he praised him for doing it. Sergey thought this was the right thing to do in the situation. This way they would still not break up, but the wedding would not take place. There was something that Sergey did not like about this girl. The next day Sergey woke up in his house to loud conversations coming from the kitchen. It turned out that his son was going somewhere quickly, at the same time talking to his mother about what had happened. "What happened? Daniel, why are you so excited? You're trembling all over." Shocked, the boy's own father started the dialogue. "It's all because of you," Daniel shouted one last time, and then left the house. Later, the mother of the family would explain to her husband that the night before, their son's fiancée copyright had thrown herself in front of a car hoping to die as quickly as possible. Vita was so upset about the cancelled wedding that she didn't want to live anymore. Fortunately, the ambulance was able to come quickly and save the poor girl. Daniel, as soon as he found out, immediately rushed to the hospital. His accusations were not accidentally thrown in the direction of his father, because he was to blame for the fact that the girl wanted to commit suicide. Already in the hospital, with pleading for forgiveness, Daniel was able to reconcile with his beautiful girlfriend. The couple began planning their wedding again. True, there was one very big but. Doctors told Daniel that his girlfriend would not be able to walk or, in principle, move any part of her body other than her face at first. Perhaps, in part, this was what influenced the guy's decision, once again, to ask his girlfriend to marry him. His mother had taught the boy compassion since childhood, so he saw no other option in this situation. Soon Vita moved into her future husband's house. She would have been physically unable to live alone in the apartment. Daniel practically stopped communicating with his father. He refused to even eat with him at the same table. Sergei, on the other hand, was very hurt. He would not have wanted not to communicate with his son for the rest of his life. Aliyah was torn between two sides. She didn't know which side she should take in this particular situation. Most of the time Daniel's sister spent with Vita. She helped Vita bathe, go to the bathroom, and eat. At the same time she attended an internship at her father's firm. Sergei, on the other hand, was not going to leave the situation alone. He did not know who to ask for help. He did not want to consult his wife, because she was completely on the side of her offended son. The only thing left for him to do was to ask his understanding daughter. She promised to find a way out or a compromise. And soon she revealed a terrible secret. A long time ago, the girl began to notice the similarities between her best friend Vita and a very interesting man. Working with Vitaly Mikhailovich, Aliyah had to endure a lot. He picked on her almost every occasion. It is possible to say, and it ruined him. Aliyah, who does that? What kind of report did you send me? Didn't they teach you in the first year to do the paperwork properly? He asked. Here, take it and redo it, he told her, taking her hand roughly to put all the wrong papers on it. What's that scar on your arm? Where did you get it? Probably fell down drunk somewhere in your clubs again, didn't you? What are you talking about? I've been falling down the slide in our yard since I was a kid, Aliyah answered, embarrassed. My daughter has a similar scar, only under her elbow and on her right arm, replied Vitaly. Something tickled in Aliyah's head. And what's your daughter's name, if it's not a secret? Aliyah asked the girl. What's it to you? Her name is Vika. Get out of here. It's time to work for a long time. The senior lawyer burst out and kicked his mentee out of the office. You could basically think that Vita was the daughter of that moron boss, because she has almost the same scar. That description is very similar to that, but the name is different, Aliyah thought. Then she decided to check her guesses and called her father. He immediately realized that it was time to go to extreme measures. Daniel was just out of the house. Lie down and bear it, since you're so paralyzed, Sergei said, entering his daughter-in-law's room. She lay there without moving. Startled, the girl blinked rapidly. She did not even know what to say. What do you want from me? Vita asked. Sergei did not answer her anything. The man began to lift the sleeve of his son's fiancée copyrightee's blouse. When he reached the elbow, he fell into complete shock. There was a scar below his elbow, very similar to the one his daughter had told him about 10 minutes before. Then he decided to see if his daughter-in-law was really paralyzed. The man went to get a heavy hammer, then walked over to his daughter-in-law's bed and took a swing at her. Vita's eyes widened. Then Sergei realized that he had to take the terrible step. He took another swing and aimed it at his daughter-in-law. The woman, greatly frightened, got up and jumped out of bed, getting to her feet. Sergei immediately realized that she had been deceiving them all along. At the same time, someone's footsteps began to be heard on the stairs. Vita, at the same minute, lay on the floor. An enraged Daniel entered the room. When he saw his weeping bride, he immediately rushed to her. Beloved, your father came into my room and started molesting me. And then, when I turned him down, he went to get a hammer and tried to kill me. But you know, I suddenly had some strength in me, and I felt like I could move a little bit. I was able to get away from the blow. Vita cried. Don't listen to her. Your Vita is lying to you. I decided to check it myself before Sergei could finish. His son interrupted him. I do not want to hear anything. Just because all the past few years you brought me up, I will not hit you, but know that you will never see me in the house again. Don't look for me." Daniel said one last word and was about to take his bride away, but then suddenly Aliyah appeared in the room. "Wait, brother, you'd better look at what I found," Aliyah said, holding up someone's purse to her brother. "What is it?" he asked, surprised. "It is a wallet of a senior lawyer who works in my father's firm. I had to steal it, but I still managed to get the truth. You better see whose picture is in it." "Vita, I thought you said you didn't have any relatives." "Then what is your picture doing in the wallet of a senior lawyer at the firm my father works for?" the girl screamed. "And you're probably not our Vita and Vika." "Indeed, it's more convenient. The difference is only one letter, especially since your father is Vitaly, and you have to be Vita." Sergey laughed. "I cannot believe it. Vita, or whatever your name. Is it true? And you're not paralyzed?" Daniel asked, hoping that he was dreaming. "Donnie A tilde Diarisiska, my love, please don't believe them. They just don't want you and me to get married. They don't like me," the girl whimpered. "Don't listen to her." Her father, Gromov Vitaly Mikhailovich, worked in our father's firm as a senior lawyer for a long time. "I had to try, but I found some information." "Dad, did you know that your lawyer is a brother of your boss?" Olga asked. "It can't be," Sergey answered. "Listen to me. It turns out that they really are brothers." Vitaly Mikhailovich had very much hoped to replace his older brother in the near future, after he retired. But his dreams were shattered when he received a notarized paper, where our boss ordered after his death, or leaving his post, to transfer all his powers to our father for all the services he has shown for many years. He has no children, after all. Also, the position of senior lawyer was promised to me, but it was not in our lawyer's plans at all. Then it turned out that his daughter was in the same group as me. Their plan was to gain my trust, so that I could introduce Vita to Danya. Danya is trusting. He believed her right away. After the wedding she would have made our father disappear and all the powers would have gone to a senior lawyer, and she would have divorced Danya, said Aliyah. Everyone looked at her in shock. She went on. "But it wasn't in Vita's plans that our father would turn out to be so untrustworthy, so she faked her own suicide and paralysis. Fortunately, Daddy suspected something wrong right away," she finished. "Daniel, do you really believe in this ravings of a madwoman? You know I'm an orphan. Would you really leave me alone, paralyzed?" spoke pitifully Vita. "Stop lying. I want you to pack your things and leave my house today. For too long I have put up with you. Turns out I didn't love you. I just felt sorry for you. I thought you almost killed yourself because of me. And if that's not true, I don't need you anymore," Daniel told her in conclusion. Soon Vita left the stranger's house. Sergei reported everything to his boss. He was very angry with his brother. He turned him down. Vita and her father left town. Aliyah began working full-time as a senior lawyer in the company. Sergei practically ran the entire firm. When the previous boss was about to leave, on a well-deserved retirement, Daniel also worked in the company, gaining experience so that he would soon become his father's full-fledged heir. Now Daniel knows that parents always want only the best for their children, so at least sometimes you should listen to them. Thank you for watching. If you liked my video, click like and subscribe to the channel. See you in new stories. Bye.